Welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by Civic Center IAS, where we try to discuss the top 10 important topics for prelims for UPSC CSE 2025 from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB. Display the topics which we are going to just discuss in today's video. The first article of the day says that an IIT Bombay student lost 7.29 lakh after a fraudster posed as a Telecom Regulatory Authority of India employee and coerced him to pay money by intimidating him under the pretext of digital arrest, according to the police. In this context, we'll see what is digital arrest. See, digital arrest is a sophisticated cybercrime tactic where fraudsters impersonate law enforcement officials to deceive individuals into believing they are under virtual arrest. So, this scam involves coercing victims into staying connected via video calls, during which they are manipulated into transferring money or divulging sensitive information. If we have to look at the modus operandi, firstly, scammers contact victims, often posing as officials from agencies like the CBI, Enforcement Directorate, or local police. Then the victims are falsely informed of their involvement in serious crimes such as money laundering or narcotics trafficking. Then the victims are coerced into continuous video communication, effectively placing them under digital arrest. Lastly, under the guise of avoiding physical arrest, victims are pressured to pay substantial sums of money. The second article of the day says that the Regional Meteorological Center here on Tuesday said that a deep depression over the southwest Bay of Bengal is likely to intensify into a cyclonic storm on Wednesday. In this context, let us talk about cyclone and its formation. See, cyclones are atmospheric disturbances characterized by a low pressure center and swift destructive air circulation. Know that these weather phenomena are often accompanied by violent storms and adverse conditions. Significantly, cyclones are notable for their distinct circulation patterns. So, in the northern hemisphere, air circulates inward in an anti-clockwise direction, whereas in the southern hemisphere, air circulates inward in a clockwise direction. Now, what are tropical cyclones? See, they form over warm ocean waters in tropical regions between 5 degree and 30 degree latitudes. Notably, they are powered by moisture and heat from the ocean. Furthermore, they often cause severe damage due to high winds, heavy rainfall, and storm surges. Now, how are these cyclones formed? See, the life cycle of a tropical cyclone is divided into 3 stages. So, the first stage is the formation and the initial development stage. See, the formation of a cyclonic storm depends on specific conditions. Now, what are these conditions? First, they need warm sea surface where the temperature is greater than 26 degrees Celsius up to a depth of 60 meters. So, it facilitates the evaporation of water vapor into the atmosphere. Then, we need atmospheric instability, which promotes the formation of massive vertical cumulus clouds. Furthermore, the rising air cools and condenses above the ocean, enhancing the convection. Now, moving on to talk about the mature tropical cyclones, we shall see the key features of a fully developed cyclone. First one is intensified storms. So, vigorous thunderstorms with rising air spreading horizontally at the tropopause level can be seen. Furthermore, positive pressure at high altitudes accelerates the descending air, warming it through compression. Then we have something called the eye of the cyclone, which is a calm, warm center with minimal wind activity. Know that we have different shapes of the eye, like the circular shape, concentric, or the elliptical shape also. Then, if we look at the cloud structure, we can observe concentric bands of highly turbulent cumulus thunder clouds. Interestingly, these are common in regions like the Indian Ocean. Lastly, we are talking about the modification and decay. So the cyclones weaken when the energy source, which is the warm moist air, diminishes. This is called landfall when the moisture supply is cut off after reaching the land. Furthermore, cooler ocean temperatures fail to sustain the system. Then, what are the effects of this weakening of the cyclone? See, the cyclone loses the central low pressure, internal warmth, and also the wind speed. But you have to know that the danger still persists even during the stage due to the heavy rains and residual winds. The next article says that the elections will be held to 6 vacancies in the Rajya Sabha across 4 states on December 20. The results will be declared the same day according to the Election Commission. In this context, we'll talk about the Rajya Sabha. See, the Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the India's bicameral parliament. So, literally meaning the council of the states, the Rajya Sabha has been envisaged as the house that represents the interests of various states and union territories of the Union of India. Know that, as per the Article 80 of the Constitution, representatives of each state to the Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly. Furthermore, the fourth schedule of the Indian Constitution deals with the allocation of the seats in the Rajya Sabha to the states and the union territories. Now, what is the process of election in Rajya Sabha? See, the Rajya Sabha has the strength of 250 members representing states and union territories, including Delhi and Puducherry. So, out of the total 12 are directly nominated by the president from the fields of art, literature, science, and social service. Then, the Rajya Sabha seats are distributed among the states based on their population. For instance, Uttar Pradesh has a quota of 31 Rajya Sabha seats, while Goa has just one. Moving on to talk about the key aspects related to the system of elections to the Rajya Sabha, they include indirect election, system of proportional representation, and method of single transferable vote. Firstly, talking about indirect election to Rajya Sabha, see, unlike the direct election of the members of the Lok Sabha, the members of the Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly. So, the Rajya Sabha members from the states are elected by the elected members of the state legislative assemblies. Then, the Rajya Sabha members from the union territories are elected by the members of an electoral college specially constituted for the purpose. Then, what is the system of proportional representation? See, the election of the members of Rajya Sabha follows a proportional representation system. It means that the number of seats won by a party is proportional to the number of votes received by it. Significantly, this system of elections to the Rajya Sabha ensures that even the minority views are represented in the House. Then lastly, we follow the method of single transferable vote. So, the election of the members of the Rajya Sabha is held by means of single transferable vote system. In this system, the voters who are the elected MLAs in the case of state, or the members of the electoral college in case of the UT rank candidates in the order of preference. Furthermore, in the order to get elected, a candidate must secure a certain quota of votes which is calculated by the following. So the quota can be represented as the total votes divided by the total number of seats plus 1 and the entire thing is added to 1. So if a candidate achieves the quota, he or she is elected. If not, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated and their votes are transferred to the voters' next preferences. This process continues until all the seats are filled. The next article says that the National Green Tribunal has issued notice to the centre and others regarding rapid expansion of the Himalayan glacial lakes, raising concerns over the increasing risk of natural disasters. In this context, let us first talk about the powers of the National Green Tribunal. See, firstly, the NGT has the authority to hear and decide the cases related to environmental protection, conservation of forests and other natural resources and enforcement of any legal right relating to the environment. Then, it possesses both civil and criminal jurisdiction, allowing it to hear cases related to environmental violations and offences. Furthermore, the National Green Tribunal has jurisdiction over all civil cases under the following mentioned acts. Then NGT Act outlines penalties including imprisonment up to 3 years, fines up to 10 crore rupees or even both based on the violation's nature and seriousness. Furthermore, the NGT has unique forum status, granting it the authority to take up environmental issues nationwide without awaiting specific case filings. And lastly, the NGT can review and challenge the decisions, acts, or omissions of the government or any public authority that have caused environmental harm. Moving on to talk about glacial lakes in brief. See, a glacial lake is a body of water that originates from a glacier. So it typically forms at the foot of the glacier but may form in or under it. Know that ISRO categorized the glacial lakes into 4 broad categories based on how they were formed. They are moraine dammed, ice dammed, erosion based and others. The next article says that the Competition Commission of India on Tuesday approved private lender Kotak Mahindra Bank's proposal to secure Standard Chartered Limited's personal loan book worth 4,100 crore. In this context, let us talk about the Competition Commission of India, in short called the CCI. See, the CCI is a regulatory body in India responsible for promoting and maintaining healthy competition in the marketplace. Know that it is the chief national competition regulator in India. Talking about its legal framework, see, the CCI operates under the Competition Act of 2002, which is enacted by the Government of India. Significantly, the Act was introduced to prevent anti-competitive practices, protect consumer interests, and promote competition in the Indian markets. Know that the Commission consists of one chairperson and 6 members who shall be appointed by the central government. Remember that the nodal ministry is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Moving on to talk about the objectives. Firstly, to eliminate the practices having adverse effect on competition. Secondly, to promote and sustain competition. Thirdly, to protect the interests of the consumers. And lastly, to ensure freedom of trade in the markets of India. What about the powers of the CCI? See, the first ones are the investigative powers, under which it inquires into anti-competitive practices such as cartels, abuse of dominance, and mergers. Then, search and seizure of evidence, also summoning the witnesses and obtaining the documents from businesses. The second ones are adjudicatory powers. Under this, to issue the orders to stop anti-competitive conduct and to impose penalties on companies violating the competition laws. Thirdly, with respect to merger and acquisition control, firstly, to review and approve the mergers and acquisitions that may affect market competition, and to block or modify mergers that harm the competition. Then, under the advocacy, to promote competition awareness and educate businesses and consumers, and to engage with other regulators to align policies. Then, to issue temporary orders to prevent further harm during the investigations. Further, to grant exceptions for agreements that benefit innovation or public welfare. And lastly, the decisions can be appealed to the Competition Appellate Tribunal and ultimately to the Supreme Court. The next article says that the Tribal Council in Assam has decided to send back more than 1,000 Kuki people who came from ethnic violence scarred Manipur. In this context, we'll talk about Kukis. See, they are the ethnic group comprising multiple tribes who originally inhabited in the tribe border of India, which is the northeastern states, Myanmar and Bangladesh. Know that they are present in all northeast Indian states except Arunachal Pradesh. Notably in Manipur, Kuki tribes comprise around 30% of the population and mainly reside in the hills. Also, the Chin people of Myanmar and the Mizo people of Mizoram are kindred tribes of the Kukis and are collectively known as the Zo people. Now, moving on to talk about the religion and culture. See, traditionally they were not Christian, but animist and worshipped different deities and spirits. But for the last 90 years, the majority of them have embraced Christianity as their religion. Also, they have their own customary laws and village council. Also, normally they do not arrange any marriage alliance outside their community. Notably, the village chief generally looks up all sorts of social and religious disputes, including disputes related to marriage and divorce. Some of the other tribes in Manipur are Meitei, Naga, and Kuki Chin Mizo, or the Kuki Chin, or popularly known as the Kukis in short. The next article says that the National Investigation Agency has launched an investigation into 3 cases of violence in Manipur, including the abduction and killing of 6 women and children from the Jiribam district on November 11th. In this context, let us talk about the National Investigation Agency. So, what was the need for National Investigation Agency at all? See, there were some key issues identified in the country, which are the national ramifications of terror-related offences and lack of a centralized framework to investigate terrorism and related crimes. So, some committees, including the Administrative Reforms Commission, emphasized the necessity of a central agency. Now, how was the NIA established? See, it was enacted under the National Investigative Agency Act on 31st December of 2008. Significantly, it was established to handle terror-related offences under a concurrent jurisdiction framework. So, what is the role of this NIA? See, it functions as the central counter-terrorism law enforcement agency in India. Know that it investigates offences under specific acts with national importance and cross-border implications. Why do you think NIA is significant? See, firstly, to ensure coordinated action against terrorism across the states, and then it addresses interstate and international dimensions of terrorism and related activities. The next article says that the Union Minister of the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying has released the annual publication of Basic Animal Husbandry Statistic 2024 of the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying on the occasion of the National Milk Day. In this context, we shall talk about the highlights of the Basic Animal Husbandry Statistics 2024. Firstly, if we look at the production estimates for 2023-24, so with respect to the milk production, see the total milk production was 239.30 million tons. Notably, the top 5 milk producing states are Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. Then the highest annual growth rates are observed in West Bengal with 9.76%, Jharkhand with 9.04% and Chhattisgarh with 8.62%. Significantly, India ranks first in milk production globally. Now, talking about the egg production, see the total production was 142.77 billion eggs. Notably, the top 5 egg producing states are Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, West Bengal and Karnataka. Furthermore, the highest annual growth rate is observed in Ladakh with 75.88%, Manipur with 33.84% and Uttar Pradesh with 29.88%. Then, with respect to the meat production, the top 5 meat producing states are West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. In this, the highest annual growth rate was observed from the states of Assam with 17.93% and Uttarakhand with 15.63%. Then lastly, we have the wool production. See, the total production was 33.69 million kg. Notably, the top 5 wool producing states are Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Himachal Pradesh. In this, the highest AGR was observed from the states of Punjab with 22.04% and Tamil Nadu with 17.19%. The last article talks about the quantum key distribution. See, the quantum key distribution is primarily a mechanism to undertake secure communication which utilizes a cryptographic protocol involving various components of quantum physics. So the process for it is that the technology enables two communicating sides to come up with random secret keys shared by both of them and known exclusively to them. So only they can use it to encrypt and decrypt the messages, thus achieving a very highly secure communication. Now, talking about the key sharing, see the distribution of encryption keys is crucial factor for this. So the sharing of keys over the air or wired links requires encryption, which is in turn requires encryption keys to be pre-shared. Furthermore, quantum-based communication offers a robust solution to sharing the keys securely. Significantly, secure communications are vital not just for the defense and strategic agencies across the globe, but also for the various civilian applications. So, in this video, we have discussed 9 articles in total for today. We'll be back again with another video tomorrow. Thank you.